everybody. Welcome to a new regular episode of Watch It Out with Jay and MJ. I'm Jay.
I'm MJ, and can I say finally?
Yes, I mean I probably still sound like an asshole, but like I had like I had like the sickness.
Do you ever sound like an asshole on this podcast?
Probably. I was just going through so many things. Like I mean, 4 negative COVID tests over like 4.5 weeks, and I don't know what my body was doing.
Well, the
So-
fact that you had you felt the need to take 4 COVID tests says a lot, I believe.
Well, it was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna break it down. So first, it was like this weird itchy cough, and I was like, dry cough, blah. So I was like, let me take a COVID test just to make sure, and that was it. And I was like, okay, it's fine. And then a week later, it was like the chest.
Oh, you feel like the pressure, congestion.
It was the chest cough, and I've had bronchitis before. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, this is fun. And I thought I was fine, and then it just lasted for a while, for like a week, and then I started having nasal congestion on top. So I went to the doctor, got another COVID test, got a flu test. Both were negative. And they were like, do you have fever? I was like, no. They're like, do you have body aches? I was like, no. They're like, headaches? I'm like, no. I'm literally just blowing crap out of my nose and coughing stuff out of my face. Like, that's what I'm doing for the past 2 weeks. Like, help me.
Sir, do you have any symptoms? No. Why are you here? Because.
Right. That's basically what they did. They were like, we're going to give you an antibiotic. And then not 3 or 4 days later, my smell went.
Oh, see,
So I took another COVID test because I was like, well, that's weird.
That's the thing is, I haven't ever had my smell go. So I think we talked about that before. Like, I don't know what that's like.
Mine went, and it was just like, okay, great. And I mean, it's very disorienting in a fact of like, I think I told you, because like I'm like in the shower.
You're particular.
Yeah, in a way, like I shower, and it's like, I know I'm clean, but like I can't smell it. Like when you lose, like that's what it's like. Like it's like, I know I'm clean, but I can't smell that I'm clean. So what do I smell like? I would assume the same as I showered exactly the same as I always did. But it's just that weird, it plays tricks. So I took another COVID test and it was negative.
Fair enough.
And then my taste didn't go, but my taste was like, my taste buds were like, I can taste sweet, I can taste sour, I can taste spicy, but I can't taste the flavor.
So you miss like the umami, like that, like salty.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I could it's like, I could be like, this is salty. What kind of salty? Don't know.
We don't know if it's soy sauce. If it's salt,
Exactly.
we don't know.
So I could taste the base
I get
level.
it.
And then my ears got congested. So I felt like I was underwater. I
No,
still
thank
do.
you.
Still like I'm underwater. So that is what my body went through. So today's like the first time where I'm actually feeling like I'm not going to pass some shit along to anybody. So I'm like, yeah.
Well, I told you my little niece is going through not bronchitis, pneumonia. And I can't imagine. I mean, apparently it's a thing going around like kids now. So I don't know if it was just like you caught a random like adult version.
Someone said, I think we were in office together. Somebody said maybe I had adult RSV or something, which I still don't know what that is. But I'm like, whatever.
Respiratory something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine. I went to a donut shop today.
Tales from the donut shop.
I got a donut I didn't like. This is what happens when you try new things.
Was it a new donut shop or is it a new donut?
It's a new donut. It was like strawberry cheese croissant. And I was like, well, of course. And I got it and it was dry.
So wait, was it like strawberry and cheese or
Strawberry cream cheese. I'm sorry. Strawberry cream cheese croissant. And it was dry, you guys. I had to force my way through it.
Did you get a drink to go with it?
I had my Coke Zero.
I feel like that combination wouldn't go well together. The cream cheese and Coke Zero don't sound.
I don't do cookies and milk and shit. I don't like that shit.
But coffee, tea,
No.
water.
Yep.
Oh, you don't like water. I know that.
Ugh.
You have to. He's the guy who flavors every single drink he gets.
Water just makes me. Water gives you like. Regular water gives me cotton mouth. It doesn't do anything for me. It like makes my saliva all foamy, and I don't like that.
So the thing that's supposed to hydrate you gives you the effect of when you're dehydrated?
To me, it does.
Well, we have a special person. All right, let's move on to our docket.
That's why I like Liquid IV. I use Liquid IV. I found a flavor I like.
I've heard a lot of people actually really like that.
Or when I've been switching to more drink flavors that have something in them, whether it be an electrolyte or whether it be a hydrator. I'm not like strictly doing like the Crystal Light like I used to do. So I'm like, if you're gonna be this way, you've got to have something in your water.
Emily's gone to like where it's not flavored water, but she has been adding like the the alkaline or the like electrolytes and things of that nature.
My go-to is vitamin water.
I like
zero
smart
sugar.
water. But like it's a smart water alkaline. I have a bottle
It
there.
doesn't have a flavor. It's just
I
water.
know. I don't have to have a flavor.
That's stupid. Alkalines and batteries.
I'm gonna say this once, and I'm
It-
gonna regret every single thing I'm about to say. But I'm gonna say this once. You're enough flavor for me in my entire life.
Shut up. That's stupid.
Is my shirt annoying you?
You're welcome. Can't stop looking at it.
Thank you.
Today, you all, we're probably going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy just because we didn't discuss this beforehand, but we're going to.
Oh, I assumed.
And we have a new TV party of 3 today. And our show that we're reviewing is going to be, where are these hands? Where are these hands?
I don't know where these hands are.
What am I doing with these?
I don't know.
It's going to be Lockwood CO, Netflix original. So,
Which actually I found out is based off a book series.
I found that out too. Jonathan Stroud, I believe, was the writer.
So in the long run, if Netflix decides to cancel this and you feel like actually finishing off whatever happens, you can go read it.
I thought about reading it. I need to read more books.
Okay. I can't bring myself, and I'll say it now, to read young adult. I just feel like I'm past that.
But see, go ahead. Sorry.
But then they put Witcher in young adult, and I'm like, well, fuck it. I like Witcher, so I don't know.
I know they categorize a lot of things as young adult, and me, I'm like, I'll just know when I read it. Like, I'll understand if I read it. Like, if I start and I'm like, then I know. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is skewing more on the side of young adult that I'm not going to be involved in.
Okay, fair enough.
But so first we're gonna dip into Hogwarts Legacy, and let us preface that I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding this game.
Yes,
but
very.
I have made the conscious choice to play the game regardless. I don't want to fight about it. That's just how I'm feeling. I am not a transplant person. I know you are not a transplant person. I know tons of not know personally, but there are tons of trans people who are playing the game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I understand if that is not your bag, and if you don't want to play, then that's perfectly fine. But there have just been so many other arguments made that make sense to me as to why I feel like it's okay for me. If I'm deep down, if I'm okay with it, then that's it. That's all I really care about is me.
If I get enjoyment out of it, yes, I get. There are some things you don't want to put out in the world. I don't feel like this is one of them.
I actually think it's more popular because people.
Oh, it definitely got more attention. But yeah, I mean, I've been streaming it live. I've been enjoying it. It's something from my childhood. And like you said, I've made the conscious decision to play this, knowing that some of the beliefs of the originator of this genre, I don't agree with.
I think that the argument that really got me was just really like, people were like, there have been several other Harry Potter games and Harry Potter things that have come out prior to this game, but after us knowing her beliefs, and no one went after those games in the same way. So I'm like, well, that's hypocrisy in my opinion. And then it was like,
well,
the other part of it was, if you dislike this game, do you have to dislike everybody who was ever involved? Like, you have to dislike, like, if there's another movie that comes out and Daniel Radcliffe or Emma Watson or Rupert Grint are involved, who have all vocally come out against what she said, if they're in a movie, then you've got to boycott that movie, because you've got to cancel them as well, because they are still playing into the hands of it. So I'm like, it's too big of a web for me. So I'm like, look, if I get enjoyment out of it, I'm going to do it.
I think the whole argument behind it is they don't want to give her, J.K. Rowling, more money in whatever stream that comes from, whether that's video games, movies, entertainment deals.
That girl is already Donald Ducking it into a vat of coins.
Oh, it's Uncle Scrooge.
Oh, it is Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, like I said,
and hopefully it's painful.
Like I said, the main thing is they just don't want to give her more money. But at this point, with as little as research as I've done, as little involvement that she had in this game, and as little as the amount of money I think it's going to make a difference whether you play us or not, that she's going to have, I don't care.
And I don't have any facts. I'm just playing. I'm like, I'm gonna play. I wasn't not.
Oh, I was gonna play either way, but yes.
So again, my guy's name is Finn Crawley, named after the Crawleys of Downton Abbey. But he is brown. He's not like my brown, because we've talked about this.
I've seen the picture.
When I was a creative player, I don't like to create myself. I like to create someone else. That's how I always have been. So my guy he's brown. I think he's more of like, I think he's like a caramel.
Fair enough.
If I may.
I will approve, yeah.
I have changed his hair. His hair is growing. It's the longer hair now.
See, I don't want to change my hair. I like how my hair is.
I'm going to change it. I want to make it white and go kind of cool.
I so do you remember the original or the Fantastical Beast movie with Johnny Depp where he had like the high and tight with like the like platinum blonde?
Yeah.
There's that haircut's in there.
Yeah, I had the haircut for a while. And then
Oh, okay.
when winter came, I was like, look her hair. So we won't spend too much time talking on this because we could talk about it forever. But I will say I'm enjoying the game. I think there are some things that that I would tweak. But generally, like, it really is a fun game. There is a agreed upon trans character in the game. They refer,
100%.
They refer to your character as they them the whole game.
Well, because you can 100% be a guy or a girl.
Right. And you would think that they would switch that the audio would change, or that the wording of it would change based on whether you chose female or male. But it is they them, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
What else?
Again, just like you've been really enjoying the game. Living my best wizard life. The little TikToks and things you see of like when Sebastian's line comes available, like you run for those. That is the truest thing out of anything in this game.
I am all about ominous gods. Like, that is who I was hoping. I mean, Sebastian's great. Sebastian's got some questionable. Sebastian is becoming very questionable.
Oh, he's red flag,
tons. But ominous god, I'm like, ominous. Like, can we get involved with you a little bit?
Did I send you that that HBO possibly is looking at maybe making a live action?
I heard.
Which the two things that people were like, first off, Professor Garlic, a live action version of her.
What about her?
That she's hot.
Is she? I'm a guy. I'm a gay wad. So
oh my gosh. Oh, which apparently she's gay in the game.
That makes sense. That tracks.
And then the live action Sebastian and Ominous, where the other two people are like, oh my god, and I'm like, they're 15. I don't know if I can get behind that.
But my character, Finn Crawley's 15. He can tap that all he wants. Meet me in the Undercroft.
I was waiting for it.
But I am enjoying it. I think for me, the things that I would change is the fact that your gear fills up so fast.
Yes.
Too fast.
Yes.
That is number one. Like, I was like playing a game and I'm like, I picked up all this stuff. I picked up 6 items. And it's like your gear is full. It's like I'm barely holding a packet of gloves and a bag of pennies. Like,
they force you to do extra work.
Right. And even when you get the full, that's still not enough for me.
I think I have 2 more upgrade levels to go with that.
But I think what it's doing is it's forcing you to like upgrade your shit, which I get, because it's like you don't need 40 different gear items. You need to upgrade the shit you have, keep it, sell the rest, and if you get something that's better, upgrade that. And then, like, I get what they're trying to do, but in the beginning it was very obnoxious.
So I've found out, and I need to test this because I haven't gone back and test. Because I saw this happen the last time I was playing on stream. I found one of those big chests that always has like an unidentified item in there.
You better not. You bet your gear better not full because it disappears.
Yeah. Okay, so if you quit and restart, it goes away and you don't ever get it back because the chest closes like it's going to come back, but you can't reopen the chest.
It took me once. It took me one time to do that, and I was like, balls.
So I didn't realize. So I found that out that happened to me last time on stream. I was like, are you kidding me? This possibly better item. So it counts as opening, so you still get the like check for your like completionist checklist, but you don't get the item.
You don't get it. But I have learned that certain chests have certain things.
Oh, like
the chest that looks like a little house almost.
Yeah,
those are almost all. I think those are always conjurations for your requirement.
Yes,
or like a wad. It's not a gear item. It's a something like that.
If you see, so I've also figured out that if you see the chest icon on the map, it's normally going to be either a wand handle or a room of requirement one. Normally, occasionally there'll be the big chest where you get like an unidentified item, but normally those are the ones that are like extra items for you to use elsewhere.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it.
Having a blast.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a bombarda. I hated the moment I said it. The moment I'm gonna just completely own that and reprimand myself for it.
I wonder how many people are at Harry Potter World and Disney World right now. Revelio.
I've seen 3 TikToks doing that.
I saw one of some big fat dude doing it. I'm like, you're not even doing it correctly, and you're obviously making fun of people. So fuck you, whoever that guy was.
So the other thing I was going to show you, and I want to know if you had this happen. I'll show you the TikTok after we get done going over this review. Um, there was a guy in the Forbidden Forest, and he was walking up to start fighting some Ashwinders, and he did his R1 where he was going to throw a boulder at him, and he did it, and one of the elks came running through, and it just took the elk out.
Oh.
Which I didn't know you could interact with those. I thought they were kind of like background pieces because they always run away when I get close.
I feel like if it's a PC thing, that there's probably something weird with that.
But like it knocks. Like you just see this deer go. I chortled.
Animal cruelty. So you guys, our TV party of 3 today, since Lockwood CO is set in Britain. It's set in London. We were thinking that we would do a TV party of 3 of our favorite non-American TV shows.
Okay, and I want to ask: are we counting streaming shows as TV shows, or are we strictly
TV?
Okay, I want to make sure it wasn't like a Traders where it had to be like a weekly thing where you'd watch it on BBC or something.
It's a TV show.
But you could technically watch it on a phone.
Not necessarily, because if you think about it, if it's a TV show that's not American, you don't have BBC at home.
Okay, just, you know what? I was asking. That clarifies my choices for me.
Okay.
All right, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You can start.
So I will correct this if you want me to change something up, but I had trouble doing this. So I'm just going to say anime because there's so many different series. I could choose all 3 from anime. So to give myself variety, I'm going to say anime in general. So because you have all these...
I need you to pick one.
I can't pick a favorite anime. I know I literally have like an anime themed tattoo on my arm.
I need you to pick one. It is TV Party of 3, not TV. Look at all these.
Look at all these. All right, fine. Give me a second to come back to that one. I had to think about it. So then I'll go with my first one as it is The Great Pottery Throwdown on HBO. It's a BBC show.
The what?
So it is
the what?
The Great Pottery Throwdown.
I'm out.
It is the Great British Bake Off, but with pottery. So you literally go in each week and you have 2 people who are judges that are master potters. And they judge what they have to make. So like you'll have anything from, okay, make a statue. Then they have like an annual one where they make urinals. And they have to be functioning urinals. They have to have a seal and plumbing. And like, so it's a wide variety, but it's hilarious because the one guy who's constantly on there, that's the main judge, he gets emotional about pottery and he will cry at least 3 times a season. And he just walks up, he's just like, I just love that someone could be so passionate about this form of art.
I'm out.
It's hilarious.
So my first one is I think it's, I don't want to call it a cop out, but I do think that it is definitely makes sense. It is Great British Bake Off, obviously.
I knew you were gonna say it.
When I found that like years ago, I was like, this is like, I have never been involved. I've never watched more healthy reality TV in my life. Like it was so healthy. And what I mean by healthy is like, non-confrontational reality TV, like competition. Well, and it just got me.
I just like that BBC shows that you're not competing for money on most of them. Like you go for like the
I think
prize.
if it's the BBC, you can't do money because it's publicly funded, I believe.
Okay.
I believe.
But like the Great British Bake Off, the Pottery Throwdown, I think there's even one that we watched, that Emily and I watched, where it was like woodworking. But like they're all like, you go to be recognized as the champion of that art craft, and you get more renown for it.
Yeah. So, but Great British Bake Off I do miss the Mel and Sue years, but
yes,
but it's still really, really good. I still love that.
Minus Mexican week.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a weird episode.
That was a weird week. I think they're running out of ideas.
They are.
Number 2?
Number 2, I think this is my cop-out. Squid Games.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's one of my favorite Korean shows that we've watched. I mean, beats out Kingdom and all those other ones that that we've seen. I 100% will stand behind Squid Games.
I get that. I think number 2 for me is Only Connect, which I've talked about. Randomly found game show. I really still enjoy watching that every now and then and trying to get the little try to make the connections and stuff like that. It's just it really is like the Jeopardy of Jeopardies. Like it's so good.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I did too for a while,
Oh,
and then randomly I went back and I was like, I forgot about Only Connect. I've got to
why?
get back into it. So Only Connect is really cool. I love that.
Thank you for putting that back in my head. I need to go watch that.
You're welcome.
So for my anime, I'm gonna pick, and I hate to say this because I feel like this is a really crappy answer. Bleach.
What? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So it follows a main character, Ichigo Kurosaki, and his entire thing is his family can see ghosts, but you see that there is like in Japanese culture, there's a like spiritual world, and there are things called soul reapers who come and maintain the flow of like spirits after they die. Come to find out, like Ichigo's dad is a soul protector or is a soul reaper. He has soul reaper blood, even though he's a human. So he has like the mix of the powers, is why he can see ghosts. But it's one of those classic like shonen action ones where it's just like fights all the time, action out the wazoo. But it's one I've rewatched a couple of
Classic.
times. If you watch anime, people will
I'm just
understand what I
joking, I'm
mean.
joking, I'm joking, I'm joking.
Just because you're not cultured.
I am cultured. My third British show is Downton Abbey. Obviously, my Hogwarts character is named after the Crawleys, but I still love Downton Abbey. I still think it's great. I don't think I need to say much more about it because I've probably talked about it before, but we all know what Downton Abbey is. We all know it was amazing. We all know it was great. If you didn't watch it, then you've missed out. But it's so good. It really is really, really good.
Who
So,
on this podcast hasn't watched it? This guy.
of course. But yeah, but I love that. I love Downton Abbey.
I need to go give it a try.
Yeah, it's good. It really is a really good show. So that was kind of a quick TV part of your three.
I know, because I feel like we've talked about almost all these shows before.
We have. We definitely have. I agree. So you know what? I think it's time to stay tuned for our review.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back, and let's jump into our review of the week. Like we said at the top of the show, we are looking at Netflix original Lockwood CO, based off of a novel.
By Jonathan Stroud, I believe.
Thank you. I don't remember if it's listed here or not. I'll have to double
I
check.
believe it's Jonathan Stroud.
Okay,
Can we discuss how I didn't get Beyonce tickets?
that's completely off topic, but sure.
I'm a little. I'm actually. I mean, did I think I was going to get them? No. Do I like Beyonce like that? I like this album like that. I think that's what it is. So I'm a little like perturbed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's fine, I guess. I mean, I'll live, but it's whatever.
Like,
Yes.
were you trying hard?
Well, I had to sign up because they did the whole verified thing, so the thing that happened with Taylor Swift wouldn't happen with everybody else. So you had to be verified, and then it was a wait list, and then if you got off the wait list, you got put into like a pool.
Okay.
Like there was like it was a lot of things. It was like you're in the line that's in the line, but then then you get a pass to be actually in the line, and then when you're in the line, you're still kind of in the line until you get into the pool, and then the pool is where I think you were able to get like tickets.
Where were you trying to see her?
Louisville.
Oh, I thought you were going to try to go to like a Chicago or something.
No, because I knew I was like I
Make
know,
a weekend out
I
of
know
it.
these tickets are going to be expensive, and I was like,
Mm.
Louisville's a smaller. I know all the cities I looked. Louisville's like the smallest city, so I was like, probably a little less. And that stadium is pretty big.
Where's she doing it in Louisville?
Whatever the outdoor stadium is.
The like football one or the
guess.
okay, fair enough.
Boy,
Papa
do I,
John's.
boy, do I don't know.
Fair enough.
There is no Papa John Stadium. It's now like L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium of the 100s or some shit. You're welcome.
Yeah, the author you were correct is Jonathan Stroud.
Stroud. Stroud, right?
Mhm.
Stroud.
Thank you for that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Lockwood Co. Lockwood Co. is a show about, it is set in London. It's kind of like, to me, I want to say alternate London, where we can see, I believe, modern day,
It is modern day.
and we can see there was an event. No, what do they call it? The problem. The problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem. So the actual what's it called? Synopsis is a tiny startup run by two teenage boys and a newly arrived, supremely psychically gifted girl.
A renegade trio destined to unravel a mystery that will change the course of history.
Correct. Mystery, history, herstory, history.
Uh,
But it is basically, well, we can go through the cast and then we can talk about the plot.
well, but to your point, the issue I think happened. I keep it like 50 years ago. I forget
I
exactly.
can't remember. I think it was 50.
I think it's like 50 years they've been dealing with the issue.
The problem.
The problem.
The
Yes.
problem. It just like the most political term, the problem.
But yeah, let's jump into cast and crew.
Yeah, so we have Ruby Stokes, who plays Lucy Carlisle, and a lot of these actors are first sight for me. Like, I've never seen them in anything.
I don't think I've seen any of them, to be honest.
Perfect. That's going to make casting characters pretty quick. But yeah, Lucy Carlisle. So Lucy Carlisle is like, she is the one who is, cyclically gifted. Like,
So, to give a little more background, the problem is ghosts don't travel or go to the afterlife. And if a ghost touches you, it could kill you. Children are the only ones that can perceive ghosts in this time.
Some children. Some children are
correct.
born with like a gift and a certain kind of gift. So some of them are listeners. Some of them are, which I believe Lucy Carlisle is a listener.
Exactly. Some are seers, which is what Lockwood is.
Yeah. So it is, different class types of seeing ghosts, basically. And, excuse me, with this problem became the startup of agencies who would employ these teenagers or these kids and teach them how to, defeat these ghosts, basically, or get them to cross over or what have you, or help protect the public.
So, and the thing is, most of the time it seems like ghosts are staying around because there's a source. So something of the person who died is still there, a body, an item.
It's very much like, if it gives you supernatural vibes. I know it's supernatural when there was a ghost, they would have to find the bones and salt the bones and burn the bones. I believe it's something similar to that, but it's not always tied to the body of the victim or of the deceased.
This is giving me like Supernatural meets like Ghostbusters meets like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was definitely getting that. I definitely agree with those three, with that triangle of connections.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lucy is a listener, and she is
highly gifted.
Yes, highly. That we learned throughout the series that she is like, kind of like, I don't want to say 1 in a million, but like, kind of like, oh,
well,
yo, shit special.
So they classify ghosts into like level 1, level 2, level 3s, and there's only been one level 3 documented, and only one person in history has been able to talk to a level 3. We find out Lucy is now the second person ever to be able to talk to and communicate with level 3.
Right. So next we have Cameron Chapman, who plays Anthony Lockwood.
Yes, the owner of the company Lucy teams up with.
Yeah. And Anthony Lockwood, or as they call him, Lockwood.
Yes.
The entire time. Would you think that I would think that he was kind of cute?
He had his moments. Like, his character was meant to be charming and and very like sophisticated. Not like he. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. He acts like he's supposed to be there, even if he's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, he's kind of a little bit of a mystery. We still kind of don't really know a lot about his story. Like, we know that his parents aren't around.
That he was an orphan.
Excuse me. We don't really know how or why.
We don't.
And he's very cagey about his past.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out, they keep saying he was an orphan, but yet he's in his family house. So he must have figured out who his parents were.
I think he's an orphan now. I think he's considering himself to be an orphan now.
Okay, makes more sense. Thank you.
So yeah, but he is the one who started up Lockwood CO, and he is. We don't really know his full motivations. I think he's really just trying to start a business and make money.
But he is supposed to be a gifted seer plus all around. I don't know like what they're specifically called. Like,
I don't know either.
Like, he's one of like the best people currently who worked in the agencies in London and now is broken off to do his own thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then next we have
Ali Haji Hashemati. Heshemati?
I would say Heshmati.
Okay. Who plays George, or Georgie, I think is what they call him, right?
George Karam. Yeah, and he is the researcher. Like, I believe he has some ability, but he is really like, he's the books guy. Like, he's in the crew, he's the tech guy. Like, he's the one who's really good at making the connections about researching everything and saying, hey, here's the ghost that we're going up against. George is the one who's going
Mm-hmm.
to research and get them all the information they need to know
Yep.
to be able to fight this ghost the correct way and be
What?
prepared.
And his character is driven. He wants to learn about the problem and what caused it and how to
Right.
fix it.
And he was actually with the biggest firm in London, but he actually left because I think they said he was too ambitious. Like he asked too many questions.
Exactly. He was too inquisitive. He did not
Right.
let it sit when he should have just been quiet. He
Right.
asked questions and wanted follow-ups and information he didn't need.
Right. So he quit and he stole like a jarred head on the way out
Yes.
to study.
Which is weird because why would a company who's trying to get rid of like entities being held by like pieces of body keep a body?
Well, a head in
Yeah.
a jar.
Exactly.
A big jar.
Because it was a big head.
Like it was like, I would, yeah.
I like it. For those of you listening on the podcast and not watching the YouTube
The handle,
video, you should be watching the YouTube video because this is
I
hilarious.
think it's swing. You know?
Is it like a lantern?
I almost feel like a really big lantern
Oh my god!
that you could swing.
I love the visuals.
With the head that's just
I love it.
regardless. So those are like the three main characters. I mean, I don't know if we really need to go like super deep into all of the others, but
I just want to name two people.
but obviously these three are operating in an agency, and and obviously it's supposed to be regulated. So they are still technically teenagers that they're supposed to have a. I don't want to say the word guardian, but they're supposed to have a.
They classify they literally say an adult.
Okay,
an adult should be
They're
present.
supposed to have an adult, but they're not really adults in a way. So obviously, someone from this agency, Inspector Barnes, who's played by
I just went by him.
who's played by Ivano Jeremiah, he is basically like he's like y'all on my radar.
Like,
y'all are kids doing this.
He's
shit.
almost like taking them on as like, you're my charges. I'll watch over you.
Right. I think he has to. Like he has to do that because he basically, I think at the beginning of the show, he really is like, you need to stop this. You're not a real agency. Like you don't have a guardian. You don't have an adult doing this. And then I think he realizes they're going to do this regardless. So I've just got to be able to kind of keep an eye on them, even though they don't technically work for the company that I work for. They're like the FCC for ghost hunting.
Well, and
Right?
Lockwood CO is very much anarchy. Like we're gonna do our own thing. They're vigilantes.
They're
there we
anti-establishment.
go. But you find out very quickly that they have like a disdain for adults because, like we said, only kids really have these. Only certain ones have these abilities, and after a certain age, you lose them. So the adults really aren't beneficial. They're not gonna be able to see the ghosts. They're not gonna be able to help you fight them. They're there for supervision.
Right. So we really. Who's the person you're going to say? Sorry.
Was the
inspector,
and then the other one was Penelope Fitz, who was the other person who was able to see and talk to the level 3 and is kind of Lucy's idol in the show in the very first part. Like she looks up to her, wants to kind of be her, grow and become this owner of this huge firm. Like that's who she looks up to.
Yeah. So the big catalyst for this is we really start the show with Lucy, and Lucy is, we find out that she is a listener, and her mom basically is using her. She doesn't have a good relationship with her mom. Her mom is like, you're gonna learn how to make us some money. Like you're gonna do this, and basically her mom sets her up with like with an agency run by like a crackpot. Like he isn't certified. To me, he isn't certified. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he puts these kids in dangerous situations. So
well. I would say he knows because he has to be certified by like the FCC, like you said, like Inspector Barnes' group.
The way I think about him is like when you see a show that has a family that, or when you see a show of adults who are fostering kids.
Oh, yes.
And then you get there and they're basically using the kids for the tax cuts. They're not giving the kids everything they need. They have them in situations that they shouldn't be in. The house isn't clean. But when social services comes around, oh, this shit is tip top.
100%.
That's kind of how I saw this guy.
No, that's a great explanation.
Yeah, and he puts them in a situation, and Lucy being like, as powerful as she is, it's like, this situation is not good. We need to leave. But she's the newest, and all the other kids are like, okay, well, I think we can handle this. But it ends up blowing up, being this whole thing. Her best friend ends up getting what they call ghost locked, which I think means when they see a ghost and they really can't break
Yeah, so like
The
they weren't.
connection, I guess.
So like people are dying from ghost touch, which if like you're like I said, if you're touched by them,
Hmm.
and you find out like that you can prevent things like if you have like salt, it'll block. If you have iron, it'll disperse the ghost and spirit,
The rapier.
which is what they make their weapons out of. So yes, so that's where these kids are trained in battle.
Hmm.
But yes, so they're protecting people to not get touched. But if you have like, and in her friend's case, like go into like a coma after experiencing a
Right.
strong ghost, you're like catatonic.
Yeah, yeah,
Is what happened to her.
yeah. And all the other kids died.
Yes, and that's where this is. So like when you get into there, you go through levels and you train and you kind of like buddy up with someone.
Yeah.
And that's how Lucy became best friends with this girl.
Right.
And she said it's so special. She knows that something's going to happen, and the adult stays out of the building where they're actually investigating.
Because he can't see the ghost, so there's no point for the adult to go in.
Exactly. But when she comes out to tell him that we need to leave, we need backup, he just goes, I'm not going to trust your opinion. Get back in there and do it. And then then he walks in because he hears screaming and actually witnesses everyone dying except for Lucy and her best friend.
Right. And then there's like a hearing, obviously, and he gets a slap on the wrist.
Yep. And then that's when Lucy's like, F this, y'all stupid.
She's like, deuces. Her mom's like, you better go back and work for that man. And she's like, I could have died.
Oh, yeah.
Hard pass. So she leaves, obviously. And that's where she, is trying to interview at firms and stuff, but she isn't a level 4. She's only a level 3.
Yep.
She doesn't have any parental guardianship with her. So those are all the barriers that she's hitting. But she ends up getting with Lockwood CO and kind of, working with them, just to kind of see. Plus, they offer a place to stay.
Well, she answers an advertisement.
An
Advertisement in the paper. Literally, everybody else has like these fairs, like a job fair, where you come down and meet all the big firms, and everybody's like, no. And Lockwood and Co. puts like a wanted ad in the paper, and she comes up and goes, I saw your ad. I'd like to interview. And they're like, come on in.
Yeah, and they do some things like they have some tests that they do, which is really cool. But obviously she gets into Lockwood and Co. But we all are trying to, like, the big overarching plot that we kind of start to figure out is that there is this mirror.
Yes.
I don't remember what the mirror is called.
They just call it like the Black Mirror or something. I think.
It's a mirror that I guess can kind of maybe it said that it might be able to reveal the problem or reveal, answer questions people might have about the other side or how ghosts work. Or
it was supposed to be created so like 7 people were killed, the bones were collected, and the mirror was made, and it's supposed to be a viewing glass to the other side,
right,
or the spiritual realm, so that you could possibly see or harness, I guess, the power of, because it was actually built by someone who was like a cultist.
Yeah, obviously we all know, like, to me it kind of mirrored what we think about when we think about the 50s and stuff like that, and the things that we heard people, like, when we heard about like not psychic, but psychiatry.
Oh yes.
And like when you hear about the things that went on in mental hospitals and stuff like that, that's kind of what was going in the name of research. The things that went on in mental institutions was kind of like what happened here. Was like there was some monstrous stuff going on,
easily monstrous,
in the name of science and research, basically. And that created this really angry power. But we do get glimpses of, like, one of the first ghosts that they deal with. Lucy is kind of able to hear, because I think they all kind of come in like ghost or bad, ghost or bad, ghost or bad.
Yes.
But kind of the first ghost that Lucy really encounters with Lockwood is like, she's like, I don't think she really wants to hurt us. There's something else that kind of is there's more to this story.
Well,
she's more of like she's less of a listener and more of like an empath in my
exactly
opinion, or both.
Well, and so like the first case they go on with Lockwood and Co. of her and Lockwood, you go in and it sounds like it's going to be this lady's late husband,
right,
who fell down and died falling downstairs. You come to find out when they get in that she's sensing multiple sounds, multiple spirits, and you find out that maybe he wasn't the first aggressive death, that it was maybe someone else.
Right.
That's when they find this girl who, come to find out,
a whole backstory.
Yes, was like an actress.
Yes. And that kind of starts off. I mean, it's not super connected to the whole
Yeah.
plot, but it helps us figure out more about Lucy and about her power and ability
Mm-hmm.
because she does like she's sensing more than just like listening, like she's sensing the empathy and stuff like that. Like she's becoming more in tune and more in touch with the ghost itself.
Well, and it ties in a little bit because we do find out that this brings in some of the higher ups that have been around since the problem started
Mm-hmm.
and how they're kind of starting to be tied in. And you see, like, adults are, just like you said, cashing in on some of the bad experiences or
Mm-hmm.
possibly the cause of the bad experience of the problem.
Right.
Because one of the big people you find out later, like, you have Miss Fitz, who is, one of the only people who have seen and talked to a level 3
Mm-hmm.
who's been around for a while. You have the owner, I forget his name, but he like owns all the iron ore and companies that makes the rapiers and all the chains. He's a big guy in this. You come to
Mm-hmm.
find out. So you start seeing how things are intertwined together and how it's almost like the kids are cleaning up the adults' mess.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not kind of it really is because they have to allow these children to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's very competitive. It's we also run into like the idea of like I forget what they're called, runic men or rune men. Is it runic men?
I don't remember if it's Rune. I think it's Rune.
Rune or runic men
Yeah.
who are basically when they find sources, they're selling these sources because these sources can, in a way, I think it's kind of people use them to like experience. They can use that
Yeah.
source to experience things. So that's like a whole black market in itself that we figured out is kind of like tied into this also, which is kind of where Inspector Barnes kind of comes into Lockwood CO because they take this job that goes awry, and he's like,
Right.
you don't have a supervisor, you don't have any, like I've got to keep my eye on you all just to make sure you're not fucking shit up,
Exactly.
basically. So this is like, and it really is like the plot to me is I think it weaves really well.
I was like, it layers together nicely. Like you get just enough of a piece that plays into the next episode that builds that you're not given enough, and you want to come back to figure out like, okay, how's that playing here?
Right, and I mean, and Lucy is basically the main character.
Yeah.
But I felt so much like they did a really good job of really making me want to know more about Anthony Lockwood. And I was like, I was really kind of drawn to him. And I know you say like I think they picked like a really good like I was so mad at him.
Yeah.
In certain parts, like he's throwing up all kinds of red flags.
Well,
but I couldn't like. I was like, but I get it. Maybe you have trauma that you don't want to talk about. You know.
And here's my prediction, and what I'm thinking is going to happen. It's a book series. It's always more than one book.
Right.
I have a bet that if you read these, not knowing how far this season goes into the book series, I bet there's a Lucy book, a Lockwood book, a Georgie book, and each one's kind of the main character of that season.
Maybe.
So I feel like they have the Lucy one, introduced her. The way they left it off next season might be the Lockwood one.
Well, actually, I take that back because this season really did do a lot with all three. Like we do start with Lucy. Obviously, she's meant to be the main character, but we do learn a lot about Lockwood, and they did a really good job of teaching us a lot about George as well. Because George, toward the back end, ends up being a huge piece in this whole plot as well. And we learn a lot about him, learn a lot about his motivations as well. So I take that back and say I think they really did a really good job of splitting and letting us know who all three of these characters were.
Yeah.
Without giving us, like, obviously we don't know George's background. We don't know Anthony Lockwood's background. We know Lucy's, but they really did bring in these two characters that really kind of held the screen with her or held the amount of time, I guess.
And the more George is on camera, I was like, oh, you're like the cute best friend kind of relief.
Dude, if I saw him with a t-shirt on with no pants on over time, I was like, why is he walking around with a long t-shirt with no pants on?
With the tidy whities, nonetheless.
Yes, I was like, George don't give a shit. Like, I'm on board with George. George kills me.
And I feel like it's appropriate now. Like, are we going to jump in and name which one's our favorite?
I really think Babe of the Week is Cameron Chapman, who played Anthony Lockwood. I just couldn't.
I'm okay with that.
Part of that's because I really do think he held it together, and I think he was really cool. And if you think about it, are you noticing like some parallels? Like he had the disheveled tie with the pants and the coat. You could basically make that outfit on Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah,
basically make that outfit.
But and he's the reason, like wherever they left off the end of this season, he is definitely the reason why I want to have another one.
Yes.
So I'm gonna agree. We're gonna go with, Cameron Chapman, Anthony Lockwood for Bay of the Week.
Yeah, he held it together. He was really cool. Now if we're talking about eye candy,
well,
Jack Bandera, who played Cool Kips. Quill Kipps.
I couldn't get behind him.
I didn't say his character
You
was
could
good.
get behind him.
I didn't say his character was good. I was like, if we're gonna talk about something, he was really the only eye candy. He was kind of cute. Which I mean, we learned Quill Kipps is like he's at the big firm, and he is like competition to Lockwood CO, basically like direct competition. They hate each other. It's like a schoolyard. You know, I hate you, you hate me. Let's not be a family, and you know that whole thing. And that is part of the thing. Is like that's part of the plot as well. Is that Inspector Barnes, when they figure out this whole big plot, he wants them to work together. He's like, you guys from Fitz and Co, right? Or Fitz?
Fitz
I forgot the name of the.
But yes, he works at the Fitz firm.
Yeah. You guys can keep up together and come up with this thing, but they're all like, you know what? We'll just make a bet, and whoever gets to it first will stop being a ghost fighter.
Yeah, they never label what they're called. I don't believe.
Maybe they do. We maybe just didn't notice it.
I was because like even like they're like they join a firm, they hunt ghosts, blah blah. Even in the description, they don't label like what they are.
Yeah, it's a lot. This, I mean, and honestly, this could get like this show. I think had the ability to get like kind of fucking scary.
Oh, I could see it exactly.
But they kept it kind of like. Just because I was able to watch it. Like, I was like, if I can watch this, it's good. But it really could have, because, like, the whole mirror thing, like, that shit is a little creepy. Like, they could have gone, this show could have really taken it to, like, a rated R, gory type of thing. But I think that the level of, like, scariness was was low, but it was very intriguing in a way. It was very cool.
Well, and they could have, like you said, they could have gone much more horror movie. They could have been like, okay, the mirror's behind, and you see like a shadow come behind you, or like, okay, you see something in the mirror, or like there's writing on the wall. They could have done much more horror film-esque kind of. But I like that they kept it very light level, which is probably the young adult of it all.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I mean, we've kind of talked about how what we've kind of liked about it. The show. I think I'm ready to jump into Watch or Not.
Sure, I'll let you start off.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this world. Like it's familiar in a way. Like we said, like the triangle of shows, the triangle connection, the love triangle.
It's something we all kind of recognize.
Supernatural triangle. But
Casting and Sam.
Huh?
Castiel, Dean, and Sam, the supernatural triangle.
No, Hogwarts or Harry Potter, Supernatural.
I'm joking.
And what was the other one?
Ghostbusters.
I think it's different, and it's different. Like I want to know more about it. Like we don't really. This was fully a introduction into this series, where a show that does something like this could spend a lot of time really kind of telling us every single detail. Like, you know, this means this, and this means this, and this means this, and it did a really good job of like saying, like, you know, we know that chain, salt, and the rapier help.
Yep.
Do we know why? No, not yet. We hear glimpses, but we know this helps. Like, I think they did a real good job of not like pacifying us, or maybe like
they gave us enough to not have to keep asking questions and to continue to watch and follow the story.
Right, they didn't hold our hands with the whole thing.
Exactly.
You know, so I appreciated that, and I actually think that these actors, being like, you know, younger actors, they were really good actors. Like, just the whole cast itself, I don't think any of them were like shitty.
No, they held their own on screen. Every single one definitely deserved to be there.
Yeah, I think about a show that had people who were probably about the same age, like 90s show, and I'm like, their acting was horrible. Even I ended up liking it in the end. This was some good acting. So to me, I'm interested as to where this world goes. I want to know more about this world. There are a lot of really cool supernatural shows out there right now. Like I put this on the level of like a Wednesday, where it's teen focused, but it's still a little creepy, a little weird, but different.
It's not too far like a Sabrina where it's like scary.
Right. So, well, Sabrina was really scary.
Well, they went a lot more dark with, I think. Sabrina.
Yeah. And this has the way to go dark. I mean, if you think about the actual shooting of it, how often was it light?
Barely at all.
Very gray.
But they honestly say like ghosts don't come out during the day, so like that's your only time you can kind of like be normal and go do your thing.
But even in the daytime, I felt like it was still kind of gray, still kind of overcast.
It was.
Maybe that's just London.
I was like, it's London.
but all that to say, I really do think it's a really cool watch. I'm actually really excited for a new season, and I actually want to read it made me want to read these books.
Exactly.
So for me, I think it's a watch. I think it's definitely worth getting into this world, figuring it out, and just kind of watching like it was fun to watch.
I agree with everything you just said. It literally, like, the show grabbed me and made me invest in these characters. I want to know more about them.
Yeah.
My first, and it was really my knee jerk reaction here that made me realize I definitely think this is a watch was, oh my God, Netflix could cancel this. Don't fuck with me.
Girl.
Like, my first reaction was like, oh, I hope they don't cancel this. I want to see it. It's a watch. Like, as soon as it was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it definitely ends on a cliffhanger.
Yes. So that's why I think maybe they have a more Lockwood jerk season 2 or like book 2, or because again, I want to go look. Was this like the first book? Was this half the first book?
Yeah.
Like, how far into the series are we? Like, was this like none at all, or did this go through like 3 of the books? Like,
yeah.
I wonder what the pacing of like how much more information we have is.
To me, I would think this would be a book. I think this would be just one book because I would say that I would think that each book has like a big bad.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So,
well, and they do over arc, like you have like the big bad, which like this one was the mirror, but you also have the overarching like other people who are involved. That's like the huge overarching plot of like the big bad.
Yeah. Big bad is a term that came from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You're welcome. I think they coined it. I don't know.
Probably.
Sure. They probably did. So yeah, awesome. I'm excited about this.
Oh yes, I hope it gets a season 2. I was typing in Lockwood CO and it popped up season 2. I did not see like release date or like Netflix canceled. So
or that is confirmed or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll see. So March Madness is coming up.
Throw that out at the end.
Yay, college basketball.
Woo!
Go see no Hawks, Seahawks. Isn't there a Hawk?
What are you trying? What team?
Isn't there a basketball team that's a Hawk?
Kansas.
The Kansas Hawks. That's not right.
We'll look it up later.
Jayhawks.
I'm pretty sure that's Kansas.
Okay, the Hawks are Atlanta. That's NBA.
NCAA Hawks.
Look it up. We're gonna look it up, you guys, because I
Hartford Hawks.
That's not a real basketball team. They ain't in March Madness. Sorry, guys.
Hartford,
Connecticut. It is the Jayhawks. I saw it. Ha ha.
Yeah, it's Kansas. Like I said,
it's the Jayhawks, not the Hawks. What's a Jayhawk?
Probably a type of hawk. But again, it's Kansas.
It isn't. It isn't like some type of hawk. All right,
I was right.
I hope you're excited about basketball. We haven't decided if we're going to do an episode next week because we were going to be doing every other week because of The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
But with me being sick and stuff, we've kind of missed that. So we may do an episode next week. We may go back to our 2-week schedule until Last of Us is over and then be weekly. So stay tuned for that.
We'll make an announcement on one of our socials. All those can be found in the description below.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys this week for Last of Us.
Yep. We'll have an episode for sure on Wednesday.
All right. See you guys soon.
All right. Bye. Jazz hands. You've been listening to Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
Interact and give us suggestions on what to watch at watchornotpodcast@gmail.com.
You can follow us on Twitter at watchornot_pod.
And don't forget about Instagram, you guys, at watchornotpod.
Don't forget you can support the pod by joining our Patreon at Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
And subscribe and leave a review wherever you guys listen to podcasts. Talk to you soon.